We're on the Silver and Black Pride page, and they just announced the Raiders have agreed to terms with Derrick Johnson, formerly of the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, was he 46 years old? 35 years old. And why would they sign a guy like him? Why in the world? I don't know, maybe it's something about this.
A blitz. Mariota flattened. Back at the 30-yard line, the ball on the ground. Derrick Johnson at 35.
I have no idea how they block him. I have no idea what Derrick Henry is looking at, and that's where you miss DeMarco Murray. You blow a pickup against Derrick Johnson, and you're going to pay for it.
They ruled Mariota down. Looked like the ball was on the way out.
I was just looking at some of his videos. I was just seeing last year. There's another video of him hitting what's his name? Pass. Go anytime. Probably gonna have a commercial. This is versus the Raiders last year. Just trying to get an idea of how he was. He used to be one of the best players in football.
Lynch. Ooh. What a hit! Derrick Johnson. It's incomplete, but Johnson there to greet Lynch.
Lynch is a little more stout than Mariota. A little more, and he laid him down flat. The guy can definitely hit. His problem has been lower leg injuries. I believe Achilles tendons injuries. If I remember right. Or am I mixing them up with Barry? I think it says that right here. Skim, skim, skim. 2 Achilles injuries since 2014. That's not good. But this guy, he was one of the best in the game at one time. I mean, I still wanted Bowman or whatever, but obviously Bowman's 31, I think, and he wants his final contract. He wants a long-term contract. He wants that sort of security. Can understand that, but football's a prove-it-me league, and right now, the Raiders are not signing a lot of guys to huge, long contracts, not named Derek Carr, Khalil Mack, or John Gruden. So they're skimping on certain things, and this guy may have come in as a bargain. You can remember with middle linebacker, I have to hop on this a lot. To me, it's the center fielder of defense, so to speak. Not really the safety. I know what you mean. Some people call the safety a center fielder or something, but he's like the shortstop. Is that a better way to put it? He's just that guy in the middle of the field that is so important. And in football is very loud, crowd noise, and there's a lot of confusion going on. There's 22 guys on the field, sometimes more, and a lot going on. And one guy gets the signal from the sideline. And he's your green dot player, and it's generally your middle linebacker. And the Raiders have had problems with this. They had problems with drafting guys and getting them to be leaders on defense. Or just not showing up physically. Not being perhaps the right type for football. And they've had this problem a long time. I mean, when was the last time the Raiders drafted a linebacker that really did well? It wasn't Greg Beacon, right? I just remember him being like a 5th-round pick, and that was a diamond in the rough. He was exceptionally good. He's one of the best rated linebackers. So these guys that we're bringing in are going to be much better than some 19-year-old named Edmonds, who a lot of Raider fans are crying about. Why didn't you select him? We need a middle linebacker. Well, it's because he's 19 years old and he's inexperienced at football. Yeah, that's why. They're trying to win a championship here, not build a Cleveland Browns team. Or not build it. Well, the Raiders were bad all those years. They want to go back to 2 years ago. They want to pick up from there. Last year was as if it never even happened. It's the advertisement I'm getting. I think I was just on eBay. Was I on Amazon? Yeah. Always have to look at the cookies. I could use some cookies right now. But I'm not saying this is a bad pick. Based on those 2 hits from last year, without going too deep, I know in the comment section I think they say, and I don't like to use them as some reliable source, Pro Football Focus, but just as a sort of like way to gauge against other players in some sort of way people can understand. He was ranked as like an average linebacker in the league, not a bad linebacker. Like I said, I don't like those sites really, but I'm just throwing that out there. I think they're fantasy football sites. They're gambling sites. I call it fantasy gambling. I quote, that is my coin term I've been using for years, because it seems like all these so-called journalists nowadays, they write all their articles based on fantasy gambling. They're obviously gambling, and I'm not a gambler, so I gamble in certain ways. I make my living, if I make a living at all, it's sales, and so there is gambling, but it's not that sort of gambling. I don't sit there and tank down money trying to rely on some athlete to get me some return on my investment. I make gambling moves or investments, speculative investments, based on what I can do to make me money. It's always based on me now. I don't like relying on others, and I have a problem with that. I have a real problem with that. I watch football as a diversion, hoping they're going to entertain me. I'm not looking to be these guys' friends. I'm not saying I wouldn't be their friend, but I'm just saying I am not going to go crawl all over football players and lick their boots and never once criticize them. I will criticize any player on the Raiders or any other team, when I think they're screwing up, when I think they're not, living up to expectations or just doing stupid things. Remember in 2014, Tom Flores, he's like flipping out in the booth, and he still had some of his faculties then, and he's like flipping. You can't do that, Derrick, you can't do that. And he's just doing stupid plays, and yeah, I totally agree with him. I am totally in agreement with Tom Flores. Because Tom Flores is a head coach based on what his players basically said, that he gave them a lot of leeway because he trusted that they would do the right thing. He was one of those original, cool, calm, and collective type of quarterbacks from a old era AFC. And he might not have been the greatest quarterback of all time, but he sure helped the Raiders do very well in the AFL, and then he helped them win championships in the NFL. And no one should forget that. No one should forget that at all. But I agree with, pointing out when the player does something wrong. I mean, just starts doing stupid things. I don't care. I hate these protests. I hate all this off-the-field crap. No, forget that. Just leave that at home. You want to go protest, you go protest in your own time. I will mail you a soapbox. Maybe not a vintage one. I probably sell that. But the Derrick Johnson, the Raiders just got an awesome linebacker. No, if he can stay healthy, he can contribute in some way to this team, in some positive way. So I don't think this is that bad of a deal. Because Ed Bowman wants, it's probably not the dollar amount, it's probably the length of the contract, if I had to guess. And they're just not ready to do that with him. And it's too bad, but that's business, that's show business, and it is show business, and it is about entertaining. And the Raiders just got an entertaining linebacker from the Kansas City Chiefs. Guess what? He spent all of last year practicing against the Kansas City Chief offense, which included Mahomes, which included the now departed Alex Smith, but included a lot of these players he had to practice against regularly. Tyreek Hill. What's the other guy? The other fast guy. I forget the other fast guy. And he had to play against these guys. So I don't think this is a bad idea. I guarantee it's going to be for low money, 1-year contract. He sees the writing on the wall. He knows where it's at. You know. But this isn't that bad of a deal. Raider fans should actually be excited about this. Because Kansas City Chiefs last year had one of the most explosive offenses. And we seen it in person. And we seen it against other teams where they could explode that first game of the season. So take this one with a grain of salt. It's not going to be for that much money. But there's a lot of potential there. A lot of potential and a lot of probably leadership potential. This guy used to be one of the best linebackers in football a couple of years ago. So Raiders need as much leadership as possible, and that's what they were really lacking last year. Even if it's just to go through training camp and maybe elevate someone else in the draft. What's that guy's name that was picked in the 6th or 7th? The linebacker? Who knows about that guy? That guy went down because of problems in his collegiate career. I don't know all the names. I can't remember his name. But too bad. He doesn't know my name either. But whatever his name is, maybe he's being brought in, Derrick Johnson, to try to act as a player coach to coach this guy up. I can see the process right here. A lot of people aren't seeing the process. Gruden is bringing in so many of these vets that some are not going to make the team. Trust me. There's a lot are not going to make the team. They're going to get cut. Or even trade. Well, I don't think traded, just cut. And they're being brought in to create this culture, this NFL culture, rather than, oh, it's rookie camp time. We got all the rookies from last year and the rookies from this year, and none of them done shit, and we're just gonna all get together and we're gonna figure it out. No, these guys have already figured out. They've been playing at a pretty high level, and especially as an individual level, some of these guys. And so they've been brought in to help these younger players get prepared. Come on, last year we were missing our number 1 pick, our number 2 pick, and then, you know, our number 3 pick got injured in the end, and some of these other picks from years past and even last year didn't do anything. They're not getting any production out of the draft. So you got to do something. A lot of it has to do with preparation. Preparation, knowledge of the game, just, you know, taking the mystery out of the game. And I'm just trying to give you some optimism, because I know people are going to flip out on this and say, like, why he's 56 years old, we can't have a 55-year-old. I mean, he's like as old as my father. And look on the bright side of this acquisition. Like I said, I'll say it again. He was on the Chiefs. He practiced against their elite offense. That's all you need to know. And he was one of the best in the game not too long ago. So, get excited. Why not? Why not? The Raiders needed a middle linebacker. They just got a really good one. He's old, but at least he knows what he's doing. He's not going to screw up like all these other middle linebackers. And maybe he will help those middle linebackers. I'm done. I've said it.